Take three. Hello, I'm Robert L. Douglas. I am truly honored to be a part of this reading program and reading to you today on behalf of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in their March reading program. Throughout my career, I've worked with young people, youth, children, mostly on the university level, but high school and middle school levels, and elementary levels as well, in a lot of different ways. I'm retired now. However, I still work with young people from time to time. And that's why it is such a joy to be able to do this with you today. I'm retired, but what I am, who I am, is a writer. I'm a playwright. I've written several plays. I've directed them, I produced them, and I've enjoyed every single one. Some of my plays have been published in book form. And I decided, instead of choosing a book from a list, that I would choose one of my books, one of my plays to read to you today. I've selected Grandma Rogers' Neighborhood, a play that I've written. And I'm reading it to you today so that you will be able to hear reading directly from the writer's perspective. Plays are a little different than novels and books in that it's written in script form. So in that book, as a script, you'll have a number of different things. You'll have, for example, past the introduction, you'll have the time, you'll have the setting, you'll have a list of cast, which describes who the different individuals are in the play and what they're about, their age and their characteristics, and just about the type of character they are. In my plays, I always include a prologue. A prologue for me is a credo. You say, what's a credo? A credo is a belief. And when I write my prologues, I am writing what I believe the message is or should be in each play that I write. I'm going to read for you this play today, word for word. Also, you should know that a play is more than just a story being told, a script for actors to learn their lines, actors like you see on the stage or actors like you see in the movies or on TV. It's also a technical book. It tells the director how the actors should move and where they should go and when they should go, how they should come and go. It tells the set designer how the set should look, what it should be built as, where the furniture should go. It tells the lighting person when the light should come on and go off, how high they should be or how low they should be. It tells the sound person where there's music, and where there are other noises and sounds that need to be heard in the play. So it's a technical manual within the script. And I'm going to read every bit of that for you today, okay? And we're going to get started now, and I hope you enjoy Grandma Rogers' Neighborhood. The time, the present, the setting, the living room of Grandma Rogers. The front door is stage right with long, narrow windows. Upstage right is a breakfast nook with a small table and 3 chairs. There is a window behind the table on the upstage wall. The kitchen exits to upstage left behind the back wall of the living room. There is a hallway downstage left that exits to the bedrooms. In the living room, there is a fireplace and a mantle on the stage left wall. In the living room, there is a sofa and a matching chair of the sofa. There are 2 end tables and a coffee table. Left of the sofa is a very comfortable rocking chair. On the back wall is a telephone table and telephone with a small chair. The cast. Grandma Rogers is a 90-year-old widow who lives alone in a neighborhood that is still well kept but shows signs of decline. She has lived in this neighborhood for over 50 years. She is sweet, yet kind of sassy and spunky. She shows the wear of 90 years and is tired. She has a witty sense of humor. She is a devout, Bible reading Christian. Joyce Carruthers is 37 years old and is a single mother who lives across the street from Grandma Rogers. She is a good neighbor who helps Grandma Rogers when she has time. She has 3 children, a 15-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 9-year-old. She is strong and independent, but longs for a man. She has long-standing issues with her sister. Macy Carruthers is the 35-year-old half-sister of Joyce, who I just told you about. She returns home after being gone for several years, trying to make a name for herself. She is slightly flighty and dramatic. She loves her sister and is also very fond of Grandma Rogers. She comes home to find herself after not achieving the success she had everyone at home believing she had. Dee Dee Carruthers is the 15-year-old daughter of Joyce. She is a typical 15-year-old girl who is slightly rebellious against her mother. She'd rather be doing things with her friends instead of babysitting her siblings. She longs for a father. One-armed Jessie is a 53-year-old one-armed bag lady. She has a mental disorder. She's crazy and wanders the streets pushing a grocery cart full of her belongings. She has some very deep pains from her past. She rambles incoherently, meaning nobody can understand what she's talking about half the time, or so we think. Old Man Boone is a 70-year-old white man who is pretty much a loner in the neighborhood. Grandma Rogers is his only friend. He's lived in the neighborhood all his life. He has a secret that eats away at him, but is very reluctant to reveal it to anyone. Over the years, he has grown from a product of his environment, racist, to a very sweet old man. Malcolm Crenshaw is a 39-year-old former neighbor of Grandma Rogers and former boyfriend of Joyce. He has been out of their lives for several years. He is a good, hard-working brother who has always had strong feelings for Joyce. He is now engaged to Katisha Witherspoon. Little Red Crenshaw is a 37-year-old brother of Malcolm. He was a very bad kid who stayed in trouble all the time. His reputation is still with him, even though he has mellowed over the years. He has finally straightened out his life and is doing all right. Katisha Witherspoon is the 34-year-old fiance of Malcolm. She is very nice, Christian woman who loves her man, but is no fool and will handle any situation that threatens her relationship. Reverend Boyd is the 40-something pastor of the church where Grandma Rogers is a long-standing member. He is a good, God-fearing preacher. Burglar is a young thug who breaks into Grandma Rogers' home. And now I'm going to read the directions leading into Act 1, Scene 1, and the prologue. As the house lights go down, we see slides of various neighborhoods around the city. Some of the neighborhood is very nice, others in various stages of decay, and some in complete ruins. As the slides are showing, the overture music starts and the prologue is heard. Remember I told you about the prologue. It's my credo. The prologue. All that we are, each man and woman, each person is launched from a place called home. The essence of our being, things that give our lives meaning, take shape in a place called home. In a given time, place, and space, by God's grace, somewhere in a neighborhood, we are raised. Uptown or down, east side or west, from birth until we're laid to rest. It doesn't matter about family or friends, or in which neighborhood we begin. What we are to be comes from within. So as Grandma Rogers would sit on her porch and say, to anyone who passed her way, always be who you is and not who you ain't. Cause when you is who you ain't, you still ain't. Act 1, Scene 1. The slides in and the stage goes to black. The overture music continues, but over it we hear the sounds of a door being broken or forced open. Soft blue backing lights come up and we see the shadowy figure of a man stealing in from the kitchen into the living room and rummaging for valuables. The music movement changes to a soft, reverent mood. A rooster crows as daybreaking lights come up on the set. A haunting voice begins to sing or hum the melody to Grandma's morning prayer. The backing light from Grandma Rogers' bedroom comes on and a man quickly ducks behind the sofa and hides. Grandma Rogers enters from hallway to the bedroom up left. She moves to the coffee table and picks up her Bible, turns downstage full front, lifts her arms and head to the heavens, and begins her morning prayer. The music plays underneath. Grandma Rogers. Morning, Lord. You know these old legs ain't gonna let me get down on my knees this morning and be able to get back up. But it ain't gonna stop me from praising and thanking you this morning, Lord. Because as long as I'm able to stand, even just to speak your name, Lord, I'm gonna praise you and thank you. I think today might just be my birthday. I ain't real sure, but if it is, it should make me 90 years old. So I knows I'm blessed. Lord, I just feel you has a purpose for me today, a reason for me to be here this long. I feel in my heart you about to reveal that to me soon. Well, it better be soon. At this age, I know there's not a lot left for me. But by your grace, I'll be able to do your will. I pray you see me through another day. Be with those I love. And I'm going to pray for peace again. Because this president, well, you need to keep an eye on it. And I praise for my neighbors and this old neighborhood. And that your will be done. Amen. Brings arms down and places Bible back on the table. Turns and crosses back into the hallway. The music now builds into a sinister, ominous movement. The burglar raises his head up from behind the sofa and looks both ways. He gets up to leave and stumbles, making a loud noise. Grandma Rogers shouts from the bedroom, "Who's out there?" The burglar stops, turns and sees her down the hallway and rushes her. She goes back into the bedroom and he follows her. A struggle is heard as she screams out for help. The music starts to build to a climax. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out and Grandma Rogers exclaims, "Oh God, help me." The music climaxes and recapitulates to the beginning of the first movement. Blackout. Act 1, Scene 2. The music comes to an end as the lights come up on the set. Joyce Carruthers enters living room from kitchen and her cell phone rings and she answers it. Joyce. Hello, girl. What do you want? Well, tell her I said to get down from there. No, she can't have any candy now. Girl, you are old enough to handle those kids. Don't get smart with me. Say what? I know you just didn't say that to your mother. Girl, don't maybe come across that street. What you got to do can wait. I got to stay here until the men get through fixing Grandma Rogers' back door. That's how he got in. I don't know how long it's going to take. You just wait. I'm right across the street. Holds phone away from her ear, then puts it back. What are those kids doing over there? Girl, get off this phone and go see about those kids. Bye. Hangs the phone and plops down in chair. Lord, if I could just stay here and never go back across that street. A man's voice from the kitchen saying, Miss Carruthers, we're done. Everyone's cleaned up. Everything's cleaned up. We'll close the door behind us. Joyce rises and goes over to the kitchen door exit. And she says, okay, thank you. Waves by, turns, and walks back into the living room. Her phone rings again and she answers it. Girl, what do you want now? Aunt Macy called. My sister Macy? What does she want? She's coming to town. Today? Did she say how long she'd be here? She wants to stay with us? Can't she afford a hotel? Well, you all get to cleaning up over there. What time will she be here? Suddenly, one-armed Jessie, a bag lady, carrying 3 bags of stuff, enters from kitchen. Joyce does not see her. She has her back to her. Jessie surprises her when she suddenly starts talking. Joyce screams and turns quickly in fear, then realizes it's Jessie, one-armed Jessie. The hounds are set free to feed upon me. Joyce. Jessie, woman, you scared me to death. How did you get in here? Jessie. Don't you know you can smell them hounds are coming? And they's mean. Tear your guts out while you watching them. I smell them now. Start sniffing around the room. They's been in the garden after the flower. Joyce. Woman, what are you talking about? Back on the phone. Dee Dee, get that house cleaned up before your Aunt Macy gets here. I'll be home in a little while. Hangs up the phone. Jessie. Pee. Somebody pee. Joyce. Smells like you did. Jessie. Well, it ain't clear to you, is it? Ain't never seen it, have you? Better look up and down the street, child. Joyce. Jessie, you're gonna have to leave now. You can't stay in Grandma Rogers' house. Jessie. Weeds everywhere. Look up and down the street. Weeds everywhere. Need tending to. Joyce. The workers must have left that door unlocked. Come on, Jessie. You can go back out the way you came in. Reaches for her. Can't stand the smell, Jessie. Jessie pulls away. Joyce gently places her hand on her and guides her around through the living room towards the kitchen. Come on now, Jesse, you got to go. Jesse, you don't tend no weeds. The gardener don't mind the weeds. Weeds grow deep. Slow down them hounds. Joyce, that's right, Jesse. That's right. You just go on back out this way, okay? Escorts her into the kitchen. Can be heard saying from the kitchen. See, there's your basket. Get your basket and go see your friends down the street. Jesse, from the kitchen, shouting, got milk? Got milk? Feed that baby. You better feed that baby. Joyce, bye, Jesse. Take care now. Walks back into the living room. Ooh, that woman stinks to the high heavens. Whew, it's still all in the room. My Lord, I wonder where Grandma Rogers air freshener is. Whew, the funk goes down the hall. As Jesse goes down the hall, old man Boone knocks on the door. Joyce from down the hall. Now, who could that be? If it's Jesse, she can't come back in here. Walks back into the living room and toward foyer. Who is it? Old man Boone. It's me, old man Boone. Joyce opens the door and lets him in and walks back into the living room, followed by him. Come on in, Mr. Boone. Old man Boone. I've been at that hospital all day. It takes so long for someone to see somebody down there. Smells. One of them Jesse's been here. Joyce. Yeah. So how is Grandma Rogers doing? Is she going to be all right? Old man Boone. Oh, she's going to be fine. She's just a little shook up. He didn't get to hurt her at all. She'll probably be released tomorrow. The doctor wants to keep her overnight for observations. Joyce. What about the burglar? Old man Boone. He'll be all right too. The shot she got off hit him in the butt. When he saw she had a gun, he turned to run and the shot got him right in the rear. Joyce laughs. Serves him right, breaking in on an old lady's house and attacking her. He's lucky to be alive. Old man Boone. I wish she killed him. I think he's broken into my house a couple of times. I'm just glad she was able to get to her gun. Joyce, you must be tired. Why don't you sit down? Can I get you something? Old man Boone. No, thank you. Sits on the sofa. I am tired. But it's more than just physical, you know? I can't believe something like this could happen to Mrs. Rogers. Joyce. I'm sure it is troubling to you. She's probably your closest friend on this street. Sits in the chair down left. Old man Boone. She is my only friend on this street. Joyce, looking a bit embarrassed, awkwardly speaking. Yes, I'm sure your friendship is very special. You two have been here longer than anyone else on this street. Old man Boone. In this whole neighborhood. I remember when she first moved here with her husband. I was just a teenager. I remember the uproar they caused. Joyce, uproar? Old man Boone. It was the 60s. Everyone in this neighborhood was white. Joyce, they were the first blacks to move here? Old man Boone. They were the only ones to move here. We didn't get any more blacks here until many years later, after the Jews started to move out. Old man Boone. Yes, I remember when your family came. Pause. When Mrs. Rogers and her husband moved here, the neighbors tried everything from trying to buy the house back to vandalism. Sadly, I was one of those young vandals. It didn't matter. They refused to leave and were eventually accepted. But the neighborhood council made sure no other blacks moved in. But then the Jews came. Joyce, I can't imagine going through something like that. It was so much different when we moved here. Old man Boone, I'm ashamed of what we did back then. Joyce, why did you stay here so long? Old man Boone, I, I need to go see about my cat. You are a good neighbor for coming over to watch your house and clean up the mess made by the burglar. Joyce, oh, it's nothing. It's my day off. And I just wanted to do whatever I could to help. She has been so kind to me and my family all these years. She's like a grandmother to me and my kids. Every day she would sit on her porch and say to us, be who you is and not who you ain't. Because when you is who you ain't, you still ain't. Old man Boone, yes, that's what would say to everybody who passed. I must go now. He turns and walks through the foyer. She rises and follows him as he goes through front door and exits. She says bye and closes the door behind him. Transitional music comes up. Slow fade to black. Act 1, Scene 3. As the music continues, the lights come up on the set. It is late afternoon on the next day. Grandma Rogers is sitting in her chair down left. She has on a robe and her Bible is in her lap. Reverend Boyd is on the left end of the sofa talking to her. Grandma Rogers, I've been in this house over 50 years and I've never had someone break in on me. Never. Reverend Boyd, times are different now. There are some, not all, but some young people who have no respect for life or property. Grandma Rogers, I'm just grateful to be alive, Pastor. He could have killed me, but the Lord had different plans for me. Reverend Boyd, you are definitely in his care. Grandma Rogers, he's got a purpose for me now. I can feel it. And after this, I just know it. Reverend Boyd, great are his mysteries, Mother Rogers. He will reveal them to you in his own time. Grandma Rogers, his time is now, Pastor. I know in my heart. I'm old and I'm tired. My time is short. I'm 90 years old, Pastor. Reverend Boyd rises. You know, God had plans for Abraham when he was 99. He had plans for Sarah when she was 90 years old. Grandma Rogers, ain't nothing a 99-year-old man gonna do for me. And I ain't about to birth no nation now, Pastor. Laughs. Reverend Boyd, I'm sure his covenant with you, Mother Rogers, will be a little different. Grandma Rogers, now, if he want to send me a 29-year-old man, we might be able to work something out. Reverend Boyd, keep hope alive, Mother. Grandma Rogers, faith, Pastor. Faith, hope, and charity. That's what love brings. And that's what brings love. Reverend Boyd, now that's your wisdom speaking. If we all had a little more faith, a little more hope, and a lot more charity, then there would definitely be more love. That's why he's keeping you with us, because you have so much love to give us. He starts to preach. God's love never ends or leaves you all alone. His love brings me joy I thought I'd never know. He comforts me in the time of sorrow. He gives me peace in the midst of trouble. God's love is there to see you through the night. God's love wakes me up and starts me on my way. I know his love gives grace to make another day. With his precious love, I'll make it no matter what. I know I can take it because God's love is strong and keeps me from all harm. God's love passes all understanding. God's love is all you need. Grandma Rogers, you know you can always bring a mighty good word in a powerful way, Pastor Reverend Boyd. I'm just being used by the Lord. There's a knock at the door. Grandma Rogers, would you get that for me, Pastor Reverend Boyd? Of course. Crosses the door. Who is it? Malcolm Crenshaw. Malcolm Crenshaw, Reverend Boyd, opens the door and Malcolm's enters. Hello, Malcolm. Malcolm. Hello, Reverend Boyd. It's good to see you. Hello, Grandma Rogers. I heard about what happened to you, and I had to come see how you were doing. Grandma Rogers. Slow a step or two, but still stepping. Malcolm, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. Reverend Boyd. I haven't seen him on any Sundays. Malcolm Crenshaw. Well, Reverend Boyd, you know, I work a lot. Plus, my fiance goes to another church, you know. Reverend Boyd. Oh, so you've been going to church with her, Malcolm. Well, not exactly, Reverend Boyd. It's okay, son. I'm sure you'll find your way home in good time. I've got to go now. You take care. It's good seeing you again. I'll check on you later, Mother Rogers. Bye. Exits front door. Malcolm. I'm so glad to see you're okay. Grandma Rogers. You know, I ain't never let no young thug have sway in this house. Malcolm. Oh, how well I remember. You always kept me and my brother straight. I turned out all right. But my brother could have used you after he got grown. Grandma Rogers. How is little Red? Malcolm. Same as always, in and out of trouble. He seems to be doing all right now, though. He hasn't been locked up in a good while. Grandma Rogers. Well, you know, God takes care of fools, babies, and old ladies. Malcolm. Old lady, you look good, Grandma Rogers. Grandma Rogers. You flirt. I was just talking about God sending me a 29-year-old, but you're a little older than that, aren't you? Malcolm. Yes, ma'am, I am. You would know. I see your mind is still sharp as ever. Grandma Rogers. So, what are you doing now? Tell me about your fiancé, your fiance. Bungles word fiance. Malcolm. I work for this construction company. We've got a couple of different projects happening now, building churches. Times are pretty good. And my fiance, we've been dating a little over a year now. She's a good woman. You'd like her. Her name is Katisha. Grandma Rogers. That's good, son. I'm glad to see you doing so well. You know, Malcolm, there's something you need to know. And I think it's about time you find it out. Malcolm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah? What? Joyce suddenly enters from kitchen. Joyce. Grandma Rogers, I'm here. I brought some groceries. They're in the kitchen. Sees Malcolm and is surprised. Oh, I didn't know you had Malcolm. Malcolm. Hello, Joyce. Her manner changes, more demure. What a surprise. What are you doing here? Malcolm. I came by to see Grandma Rogers. I heard about what happened to her. Joyce. Awkwardly. Well, I mean, it's good to see you. Brushes her hair with her hand and straightens herself. How long has it been? 5, 6 years? Malcolm. It's been a long time. Too long. Looking at her deeply. Joyce. Looking at him deeply. You had moved away last I heard. Malcolm. Yeah, I was trying to find work back then. I've been back a couple of years. Joyce. No one told me. Malcolm. Yeah, I just been doing my thing, working, you know. Joyce. Well, you look good. Malcolm. You look good too, Joyce. Joyce, I put on a little weight. Malcolm, how are your kids? Joyce, oh, they're fine, growing up, you know. Isn't it wonderful that Grandma Rogers is all right after after what happened and all? Grandma Rogers, by God's grace. Malcolm, yeah, it is. She never did take any mess. Joyce, there are some bad kids out there these days. We were never that bad, except for little Red. How is he? Malcolm, he's doing okay, Grandma. You should bring him by to see me. Malcolm, if I can catch up with him. Grandma Rogers, it would be nice to see you two together. It's time. Malcolm, oh yeah, you were about to tell me something I should know. Grandma, oh, I'll tell you later. Malcolm, well, I better get going. I'll be back to see you, Grandma Rogers. You're in good hands with Joyce around. You take care now, Joyce. It's been a pleasure. Take care and tell your kids I said hello, if they remember me, Joyce. Oh, they will, I'm sure. It was good seeing you too. Malcolm, bye. Exits front door. Grandma Rogers, bye. Joyce, bye. Stands looking at the door for a moment. Well, what a surprise. I didn't know he had moved back here. I wonder why he never told me. Grandma Rogers, you got some nerve. Joyce, what? Grandma, when are you going to tell him about Dee Dee? Joyce, Grandma Rogers, you know? How? Grandma Rogers, it's time he knew about his daughter. It's been 15 years. Joyce, was that what you were about to tell him? Grandma Rogers, oh, no, it's not my place. That's your responsibility. Joyce, it's been so hard raising her, especially now. Grandma, she needs a father. She should know her father. Joyce, I know, Grandma Rogers, but I'm afraid. Grandma Rogers, afraid of what? Joyce, how he'll feel about me, how she'll feel about me. Grandma Rogers, the longer you wait, the worse it'll gonna get. It's time now. Joyce, you're right. One-armed Jesse enters from kitchen, talking. Puppies, just puppies. Sniffing, just sniffing. Joyce, startled. You again? How do you keep getting in here? Get out. Grandma Rogers, it's okay, Joyce. She has a key. Joyce, she has a key? Grandma, yes, she comes by for food and to clean up from time to time. I've offered to let her stay here, but she refuses. Joyce, that's how she got in here yesterday. I thought the workers left the door open. I put her out. One-armed Jesse, can't you see? Makes no difference who cracks the whip. One care, one don't. Puppies follow their nose. Cold nose, cold nose. Sniffing, sniffing for tits. Grandma, Jesse, there's food in the kitchen. Go help yourself. Jesse starts to cry. Kitchen's closed. No milk for them babies. No milk. Cries profusely. Lost this. Grandma Rogers, it's okay, Jesse. It's okay. We'll get some milk for them babies. Jesse looks up and around the room. What? Ain't no use. Continues to look up and around as if someone is talking to her from the air. You don't know. You don't know. Them babies gonna be all right. Milk or no milk. Grandma Rogers, go on in the kitchen now, Jesse. Get some food. Go on now. Went on, Jesse. Flowers always look pretty in the garden. Goes into the kitchen. Joyce, boy, is she crazy? Grandma Rogers, yeah, there are some things real different going on up there. Always has been. Joyce, long as I can remember, she's been wandering around this neighborhood, pushing that old grocery cart full of junk, talking to herself all loud. I used to be scared of her, waving that one arm around all wild. Grandma Rogers, yeah, oh, she's harmless, child. There's a lot of pain in her heart, but she ain't no dummy. She knows what's going on around her. Joyce, what happened to her? How did she get like that? What happened to her arm? Grandma Rogers, it's a long story, child. It will all come to light soon enough. And you have a place in it. Me? In her story? What are you talking about, Grandma Rogers? Never mind that, child. What are you going to do about your problem? Joyce, I don't know. I have all these fears. There are so many feelings involved. Everyone will be hurt, including me. How do I tell Malcolm Dee Dee is his daughter? How do I explain why I never told her about her father? Yet everyone would be better in the long run. I just don't know what to do. Slow fade to black. This is Grandma Rogers' neighborhood. The rest of the play reveals Joyce's secret. What happens when she tells Malcolm about Dee Dee. We get to meet Little Red and Katisha and Macy. We find out why there's strife between Macy and Joyce. We learn what Old Man Boone's secret is. And we also learn what happened to old One-Armed Jesse's arm and what Grandma Rogers' purpose is. I hope you'll buy it and read it. Suggest that your school purchase copies for your library so that you can continue to read Grandma Rogers. That's all for now. Have a good day and be blessed.